Welcome to the weekly poll. Shut up, Joel. I know you're talking. You have to be talking somewhere out there. Somewhere over the... Okay, anyway. This is the every other week show right here on twitch.tv/ElitableMonster, in which me, Benny, the Comicstorian, the one, the only, the incredible, the godlike member of the comic book community, is joined by three other individuals known as Rob, Tiffany, and Sal.
Hello.
Hey.
This is interesting. They cast Batwoman for the CW series.
Hey, Rob, have you heard about listening when we say what the topics are so we can talk about them during the episode? So today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Let's start off with Batwoman being cast in the CW show as Ruby Rose.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, Ruby Rose is playing Batwoman, but yeah.
Yeah.
Who is that?
I mean, okay. I mean, that's, cool, I guess. It's Batwoman. Nobody cares about Batwoman.
What?
What are you, crazy?
No, I've never really been interested in Batwoman.
Nah,
I tried to get into it, but I don't know. She was just never really interesting to me.
But no, anyway,
maybe it was just because her stories weren't in a way that could resonate with me.
Alex 1T4. So today's topic, guys, is going to be really simple. We don't have like a big news to talk about. We've been looking for things. There's nothing massive, nothing that's going to fill the whole hour. We didn't have a San Diego Comic-Con, and I think every company blew their load there. It's all over the San Diego walls. It's just all over.
Who didn't do anything.
Right, and they're apparently not going to.
It
so
doesn't
whatever.
look like it. I mean, I would expect them to have done it, but I don't know what they're waiting for.
I don't know, but this is your typical post San Diego Comic-Con period. It's your refractory period where you really can't get much information out of anyone because they're all still exhausted from spilling it all over the place. So basically what's happening now is today we're going to talk about a little bit of little news. Talk about the James Gunn thing finally. We're going to talk about Ruby Rose being cast as Batwoman and Rob's opinions on Batwoman. And we're going to talk about the Supergirl movie that got announced, which everyone's like saying it's not impressive, but it is. So let's start with Ruby Rose. So the Batwoman thing is actually not new news. That was announced to be the crossover event of this season coming up, Rob.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that she's gonna be in every.
The Flash and them need to take a break from like world-ending calamities and just be like, you know what? Nothing bad happens in this season.
Right.
Well, that's why I'm liking Black Lightning, because Black Lightning's like, we're saving this town. There's nothing big happening. We're just saving Freeport because that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
There's nothing big. It's okay. The world will survive if everyone dies here.
Basically.
Thank you so much for that sub, John Apocalypse.
Yay.
Yes, splooge. John Apocalypse.
Nice.
That's kind of aggressive.
Aggressive splooge.
Hey.
I splooge with great haste.
It's the Speed Force splooge.
Yes.
Oh.
Speed Force splooge.
Yeah.
So
Sage Force. Splooge Force.
overall, like let's just talk about, because Ruby Rose, for those guys who don't know, I don't even know what she's from. I actually saw her for the first time from her song, and then in Orange is the New Black, she was in that.
Yeah, I have no idea who she is.
That's all
Apparently
she needs, really. Is
she's
just
an
to be
Australian. She's an Australian model, DJ, recording artist, actress, television presenter, and former MTV VJ.
What?
Wait, VJs are still a thing?
Look. That's just what it said in her wiki.
I thought BJ's died with Downtown Julie Brown.
Okay, I will say this. Even if VJs is still a thing, I don't know if I'd want that on my resume.
She was also in John Wick Chapter 2, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Who did she play in John? Oh, was she the other
Ares.
assassin chick? Yeah.
Oh man, is she in the Meg?
Yes, she is in the Meg. She plays Jax.
Yes, I'm very excited about the Meg.
That movie,
The Meg.
Everyone was saying the Meg, and I didn't know what it was. And thank you so much for that Twitch Prime sub, Evil Yoda 666.
Yeah.
Splooge Yoda.
Everyone is saying the Meg, and I didn't know it was the Megalodon movie.
Oh.
So everyone's like an artist hit me up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing the art for the new Meg comic book." And I'm like, "Is there like a movie about a girl named Meg? Is this like a Family Guy spinoff? What is this?" I had no idea what the Meg was, and then finally, like, I saw the big standee at the movie theater, the giant shark. I'm like, "Oh, Megalodon!"
And all the pieces fell together.
yeah, exactly. So that was funny.
It's raining outside. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, if it starts to hail, don't be careful with the windows and everything.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a freak hailstorm up in Colorado Springs that was the hail pellets are so big they killed 2 animals in the zoo.
Oh.
Wow.
So if that's here, like
That's just Darwin right there for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Oh.
You know, we never had snow-style weather, Rob, until you moved here. Now we get it in the summer.
He brought
Bring the apocalypse with
Meg
you.
comes out this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing that. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
gonna go see it this weekend.
I gotta tell you, it's interesting. You guys are having a storm over there. We have like crazy thunder over here. So
Yeah, we've
Maybe
had
it's the
nothing but
same
rain.
storm, but you gave us the hail.
Yeah, that's the impact.
So anyway, I mean, have you looked her up, Rob? Do you know what Ruby Rose looks like? Because I will say this, I think because she can act. I saw that in The Orange Is the New Black. She looks like the physical embodiment of that role. She looks like Batwoman.
Yeah. Just like either shave her head or give her red hair. She'll look exactly like Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's exactly it. I got a feeling. I don't know. She might shave her head. She's done that kind of look before.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like Batwoman's character, I think, has had a shaved head before. I think more recently she just has
Right
short
now she
hair.
is. No.
Oh, right now
I think
it's
it's shaved right now, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Have you been reading the Batwoman run at all?
I have not, so I can't
I
tell
think
you.
it's shaved right
It
now.
started out shaved, I think, in the beginning of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I don't remember. Well, the red
Well,
hair's a
that's her costume. It's the
Yeah,
big
but like when she
blob.
takes it off, like she doesn't have this.
Mhm.
She looks like Rob,
Why don't you get cast as Batwoman? Just take your glasses off and you're Batwoman.
Yeah.
right? Just I can't reveal my secret identity. I have to keep my glasses on. Are you kidding me?
I
also can't see.
What movie was it? That reminds me of a movie where they had a girl show up to be the actress or something, but they took her glasses off and she was trying to act, but she couldn't see. That's what I picture Tiffany trying to do as Batwoman, just being like, "I'm Batwoman."
That would happen.
Guys!
Those are not like cosmetic glasses. She literally
Guys, no, they are not. I legitimately need these to see.
That would be hilarious, though.
I am inefficient.
So the bigger thing that I have about this whole thing, though, with the Batwoman thing, what is this plot gonna possibly be?
Oh.
Also, how do we introduce Batwoman and still not reference Batman?
Well, they'll reference Batman. They'll reference him in like Gotham City. We've already had Bruce Wayne referenced a couple times in Green Arrow. So I mean, yeah, she's just gonna be like, I'm related to Batman, or they're gonna be like, what are you, like a female Batman? And she's like, yeah, that's why they call me Batwoman. 'Cause I'm like Batman if he was a chick.
I mean, like, since she's not directly connected to him in any way, like, it's just the only thing is the theming, but, like, he didn't train her, they are not really friends, like, they didn't grow up together or anything, like, I think it was a smart move to do Batwoman instead of, like, Batgirl or, like, Nightwing or something, because
Someone
Batwoman
who's actually directly connected?
she's so divorced from Batman in terms of, like, where her origins come from. You don't have to, like, you know how, like, in Teen Titans, when they did that future episode where Dick Grayson's in the future and he sees, like, he plays Nightwing, but they had to, like, really tiptoe around the whole Batman thing. They don't have to worry about anything like that anymore. They can literally just be like, my origins are this, this, and this. It has no reference to Bruce Wayne, to the Waynes at all. Like, the only thing they have to reference is Gotham, which they've done a number of times anyway. So I think it's a smart move.
You know what I think would be funny?
Inspired by Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I would find hilarious if they don't reference Batman, but someone like makes a comment like, you know, I feel like Batman is basically what you do, Oliver. Like a male version of what she wants to do is you.
Yeah, it'd be great if it was like, man, we needed I figured we needed a new, like, a Green Arrow in Gotham, but, you know, Robin Hood was already taken, so I went with a bat theme.
Dad Silly Kitty, thank you for 25 months in a row, and oh so flanky, thank you for that Twitch Prime sub.
Wow.
Yes, splooge. See, the problem with her being from Earth 2 is they've, like, you can't, like, this far, it's really too late in the Flash universe to, like, start bringing in superheroes from Earth 2, because it's kind of like, so, like, Harrison Wells never knew, like, just never had a reason to mention, like, Batwoman or any other superhero on Earth 2 that could have helped him out in any of the situations they've been in so far. Like, it doesn't,
No, I
doesn't make
agree.
any sense.
I mean, like, it's flimsy to, like, it's like trying to establish who the Fantastic Four are going to be in the MCU. Like, oh, we're just going to pretend like we didn't need their help at any point during Thanos' reign. Like, but
oh, no, they're
going
going to
to
give us Ultimate Fantastic Four.
They'll be clever.
they're
Tony
just
has
gonna
a
give us,
really
like,
big
Kid Reed
ego.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
like,
I mean, hold on. Using that exact same argument, where's Ant-Man and Hawkeye?
Ant-Man and Hawkeye are small potatoes. Where were they? They were busy. That's the same way you explain Batwoman. Like, why didn't I call Batwoman? You mean, why didn't I call, like, essentially a police officer who has a few more gadgets?
True.
Like, why would I have told you
she's
about her? Like, what
ex-Army
did she
or
have done?
Marine or
Well, I'm
something.
just saying,
With one
like,
of
a
them.
person who's highly trained that you would normally call in a crisis situation, like, that's who she is. Like, she's like, yeah, I had enough problems to deal with. I had the Dominators to contend with in Gotham. Like, you know, I'm busy.
Yeah. I mean, they can make it work. I mean, it is CW. It's a comic book based show.
Well, they'll
We're
just
just
go,
gonna run with
who
less.
cares? Like, in terms of CW, it's like, well, whatever. The real question
Whatever.
is, the real question is, like, what's the drama going to be about who she's in love with? CW.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. She's gonna show up. They'll probably make a big stink out of the lesbian angle of the character.
Yep.
I don't think they will.
Are you unaware of what they're doing for all their shows this season? You probably are because you don't follow them. So they may. Supergirl's making headlines for having the first transgender actress on there. She's being trained by Supergirl. Flash followed up by stating that they're also going to have an LGBTQ character, but they can't say who it is yet. And so they're all falling in line with that after the reaction. I think, honestly, it's from the reaction they got in Supergirl to her sister having the lesbian relationship. Which,
If you want to piss off all the Flash fans, make Max Mercury gay. Like that'd be kind of funny, actually. Like I would do it just to see people get up in arms. So I'm just
yeah. But, I'm just saying the CW show's got a very large fan base with those audiences, so they're all kind of going in that direction of having the what was originally just Supergirl doing a storyline is now apparently going to be all of them doing some form of storyline to attract the LGBT audience.
Yeah.
So
I mean that makes sense. Like why not hit your demographic head on?
oh yeah, no, I don't argue it at all. If you find an audience, cater to your audience, make stuff that works for that audience. Macaroni 1302, thank you for that Twitch Prime sub.
Yeah. That's not a huge deal. I mean, the weirdos will complain, but they can just, they can
No, I agree, but that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I totally see them using that angle with Batwoman.
Yeah.
Having her interested in one of the characters and things like that. Because then she'll go through all four all 4 episodes. I could see her going into whatever show she shows up first, being interested in one of the characters, and then they use that as a way to pivot between the episodes of her asking about this character.
Yeah.
I can see just something simple like that, and maybe even be a character that's being written off so that they go off with Batwoman to Gotham for their next year's CW show.
Right,
That kind of an attitude. That's what I could see them doing.
I don't think they're going to go Gotham.
There's no confirmation on a Batwoman CW show, but don't even try to get me to believe that if she is not well received, we will not see a Batwoman show next fall.
I guarantee
it's
it.
a backdoor pilot, to be sure.
Yeah,
There's an asterisk next to that Batwoman show.
Yeah,
if she's well received.
It's like this isn't like it's an alien invasion or we're going to fight Nazis from an evil world. No, this is, hey guys, Batwoman. And they want to see what you're going to do. And that's why I 100% think that they're going to play that angle, spin it off. Because if you're a core audience or one of your core audiences, one that is large enough that you want to cater to them, is the LGBT crowd. And then you announce we have one of the largest lesbian superheroes. Play that angle. Here's the show. Have fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And at the very least, you can join the Legion or Legends of Tomorrow.
Tevia says that they've actually already announced they are making a pilot.
Oh, okay.
So I missed that, but
that would not make it's. You have all
That's
the
not
sets,
surprising.
you have all the sound studios, you have all the costumes. Like, you might as well just shoot a pilot while you're there. Like,
yeah, and just see how it goes with test audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, here's a problem. The problem with what's that other show, Legends of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Is that characters get sent to be written out of.
oh, I know. But wouldn't it be funny if they were like, we could use one more shot in the arm for Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman was a fan favorite character. Freeze the pilot, stick her on that show for a season, then spin out the pilot.
yeah,
That's not a bad idea. Give them more exposure.
Exactly.
they're talking here. So yeah, it's already been pulled out there. Someone said it's fine. I'm fine with the LGBT people on these shows, but they're only 2% of the American population. I don't know if that fact is true, but I will say, even if they are 2%, it doesn't matter if that 2% is who is watching your show and they make up 50% of your audience.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean,
that's like saying like doing a comic book channel on YouTube is a waste of time because they only make up like 2% of the media absorbing audience. Like, yeah, we could do movies, but like we do the comics. I have that audience now.
Actually, that's a great example because Rob and I were looking at some of the numbers the other way. It's like 51% is video game media.
Right.
And it's like 21%, I think, is DVD sales. Like 9% is like cinema tickets going to the movie theater.
Right.
But it's like 17% is books. And of that is like 3% is comics.
Exactly.
We picked that small niche, and we've all made it work as a success. So that's not to say that just because they are potentially 2% of the American population does not mean that they are all watching.
Yeah, exactly. They all have their money still green. Let's take it.
Yeah.
But So
I don't have much else to say on that though.
I hope
Yeah,
the costume's
Batwoman.
cool.
That's what it's going to come down to for me. If they make it comic accurate, like, oh my god, I would actually like really love it because I like the character Batwoman. I like Journey Detective Comics. I do like her spin-off book. I'm not a huge fan. Like, I don't keep up to date on her.
No.
She's the kind of character that I go, I really feel like reading comic books. I've caught up in everything. Let me read a few Batwoman trades, see what's going on over with Kate Kane.
And maybe that's what it is. It's easier. I don't know. I feel like she's easier to pick up and trade. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
she is.
I don't know. Just make trades for her.
So yeah, that's that right there. And for the record, most of you guys I do see are agreeing with us in the Twitch chat that this is a backdoor pilot. But for anybody who may be listening to this post or listening to this afterwards, and you might be questioning it, keep in mind Barry Allen showed up in that second season of Arrow as a backdoor pilot.
Yep.
And then reinvented him for his show, but he did show up as a pilot. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, they love to do that.
All right, let's talk about the next thing. Let's move over to before we go to the big one that might take the longest. Supergirl is getting a movie officially.
Yes, I'm pretty excited about this, and I want to see Supergirl who can like beat the shit out of Superman. That's the one that I want to see.
Well, that's technically what she's supposed to be. I always love the argument that, oh, she's not stronger than Superman. I'm like, every iteration that I have read of Supergirl, she is stronger than Superman. She just can't control it like Superman can.
Yeah.
Which
that's the argument. Like it all stems from Crisis on Infinite Earths, but the whole idea of that is she doesn't really have the same kind of blocks that Superman has.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Superman's like, I've been around humanity for a long time, so I give a damn about them. And Supergirl's like, I kind of care, depending on what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, right now in the comics, she's leaving Earth. She's going to go check what's going on with the Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is weird. Because I thought they were doing other things with her, but then they were like, no, we're going to, like, I remember Bendis being like, I really, really can't wait to do something with Supergirl. And then they're like, oh, she's leaving right now. And I'm like, weren't you going to do something with her? Wasn't she going to be, like, a main character?
I think she's gotten into a weird place because they had. I personally loved the New 52 storyline where she couldn't fully understand English and she was trying to learn the human race and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I liked that a lot, but they got rid of that to match it to the show. Now she's like 16, even though she was like 20, and now she has to go to high school. They tried to match it all up. You didn't know about that? And thank you so much for that sub,
No, I did not.
Oh, they took the concept. So New 52 was great, and they ended it on a cliffhanger where she lost her powers.
Yeah.
And when they brought it back to match up with the show, this is why I stopped reading it. They, in one issue, wrapped that up as stating that she just temporarily lost them. Here's how she gets her powers back. And then, and now in order to fit into humanity, she's going to go hang out with this family. They're the Danvers, and they're going to be her foster family now. And she's going to live on Earth. And, we're going to send her to school. And here's your intern job with someone very similar to Cat Grant. And I was like, no.
That sucks.
So,
That's weird, though.
They did that. Well, now they're doing this.
If the show is so popular and it influences the comics, what's the movie going to be?
Yeah, that's...
Would you see
I don't know.
Would you see who Variety says that they got to pen the script for right now? Supposedly?
Oh, no.
Oren Uzil, who's responsible for Cloverfield Paradox and 22 Jump Street.
Oh. So it'll be like a big comedy or dumb?
He's also currently working on another Mortal Kombat thing and something about Sonic the Hedgehog. It's interesting. Like, it's an interesting pick because it's not someone who's typically associated with this genre, so maybe he'll just bring something different.
Weird. It's such a mixed bag. Like,
right?
That is a
21 Jump Street was amazing. Cloverfield Paradox was okay, but it was by no means like a great film.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's like, damn, it's such a hit and miss mixed bag.
It's not a new Mortal Kombat. That's the original, I think. The really crappy one.
No, it's a new one. It's from 20.
First of all, the original Mortal Kombat movie was not.
Yeah,
Christopher
exactly.
Lambert.
No, the original
that movie was
Mortal
amazing.
It was horrible.
From
No.
Carl W.S. It's the most faithful adaptation of Mortal Kombat you could possibly make.
It is.
Which just makes you realize how dumb Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat, but when you try to give it like it's like Street Fighter's plot. Let's give it actual plot devices. No, this isn't making any sense now.
Street Fighter can't hold a candle to Mortal Kombat when it comes to that movie.
Oh no! Go read the comic series. They finally did Street Fighter right. What they said was ignore the games. Here's a comic that gives an actual continuity and puts it all together.
I'm just saying,
it's great.
If you compare the Street Fighter movie and the Mortal Kombat movies are apples and oranges. The Street Fighter movie
that I
is a
like agree
mistake.
with, yeah.
The Mortal Kombat
You don't like
movie was
Van Damme?
I'm on. I'm on board.
The best part ever about the Street Fighter movie was they made a game based on the Street Fighter movie, which was based on the Street Fighter game.
I know, and it was
Right?
worse somehow. Like,
Yeah, it was a terrible game.
Yeah.
It was ass. Just ass.
But to be fair with this writer, there's always the potential that they'll just switch it out. Like he might start a script, he might get fired. Like who knows? Like they don't always stick with one individual for them. It's just an interesting call.
I do want to say this, though, because I'm reading this article from Deadline about this, okay? And they're like, the studio's a ways away for what will likely begin a search for a female director. This and they mention Wonder Woman, the original, had male writers who worked on those films, basically implying that they need to get females on this movie. I'm not against that, but I hate the argument that because they're women, they should be on the project.
I agree.
Right.
Like, here's why you get resumes and things like that, and I hate to say it, like, the industry's very one-sided towards the male side. I agree with that. But we need to give them opportunities to get to where they can make the amazing things. Like, I just feel like hoping that we're gonna have another Wonder Woman creation is like it's a flash in the pan that you're gonna get it so good. Patty Jenkins is like a 1 in a million. So I don't know, like I don't know what I'm trying to say. But you're
just trying to say. I think what you're trying to say is just get the best person for the job.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter who it is.
Person for the job. I regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
I feel like Patty Jenkins, if she's available, do her, but I doubt she will be.
She's a good director. It's just like it would suck for Patty Jenkins to be the DC female movie director.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It just makes me think back to when they had, and thank you so much for that, the real Dan P for Twitch Prime subs 8 months in a row, and he says, Captain Planet!
sweet.
It just reminds me of back to when they announced the director for the upcoming one of the Star Wars movies. I think it was 9, and it was like some really high-ranking like male director, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good to see another male director." And it's just kind of like because he knows what he's doing. Like, do you have someone of this caliber that you're thinking of that you want to bring in? Because
no, it's
Lucio,
weird.
thanks for that Twitch Prime sub.
Yeah, it's weird that they would go, okay, well, we're making a female superhero, obviously the formula, well, it just shows they don't know anything. Like, like whenever they were like, when the Batman Nolan movies were done, they were like, okay, well, those movies are over, that continuity's over, we're going to start making a new DC interconnected universe. We need to get Christopher Nolan to be one of the producers because he knows how to make superhero movies. And it's like, whoa. No. Christopher Nolan knows how to make good movies. You want to get Christopher Nolan to like make a movie that has beautiful visions and a good soundtrack and whatnot. Like, go ahead, but don't get him because he gets superheroes.
Yeah, I said yes to that, but I was actually going to say, actually, as much as I love the Dark Knight trilogy, he does not seemingly get Batman. His whole thing was, how do I make Batman realistic?
Right.
And you really can't do that in the long form. You can't be like, let's make Superman realistic. Let's make the Green Lantern realistic.
Yeah, like I want to get.
Well, when you make Superman realistic, you end up with angsty Superman who doesn't know if he really wants to be a superhero. And the movie's called Man of Steel.
Like,
when you try to make Superman realistic, you get Zack Snyder trying to beat Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vinny, Michael Bay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for a Supergirl movie. Like, I think Supergirl, but like I say, I don't want to see like weak Supergirl. I don't want to see Supergirl who's like, her first day in college and what class is she going to take and is it going to be psychology and will she be foolish enough to major in like communications?
Oh,
like,
dude, I want to see Supergirl get to an argument and be like, well, I've taken one class of psych, so I think I have you understood. Let me explain what's going on here.
Yeah, I read a really good book. Like, I read a book by Steven Pinker, so I understand how the mind works. No, you don't. Like, I want to see Supergirl who's just like, I mean, I would call Superman, but like, I don't need him though, because like, I'm Supergirl.
Yeah, that'd be
and
cool.
like, I could just, that's the version I want to see. Like, I want to see like OP broken Supergirl.
I see them doing that. I see part of the reason why Supergirl has been announced is DC's like, hey, the one movie everyone loved is Wonder Woman, our female superhero. Let's get someone as strong as her, like, in presence.
Yeah.
Oh, Supergirl. Bam.
Yeah, because I guess they forgot that Power Girl was a character.
I think DC's trying to go away from Power Girl.
Oh,
I
no
hate to say it, I love Power Girl, but
Right.
even when they do put her in anything, it's like they shrink her chest down, and she's like B tier character. It's
They
so
just don't
funny.
know what to do with her or how to handle
I think
character.
it's that. I think it's also easier to sell Supergirl to a non-comic book reading audience because it has super in front of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean,
Hey, come check out Power Girl. She's Supergirl, but from a different universe.
oh,
Yeah, like,
no,
so why
you
not
have
just
to
do
do a
Super-
whole new origin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it looks like the chair was delivered,
Really?
according to the thing.
If you'll excuse me for 1 second, I'm going to go look out in this monsoon to see if there's a big box outside.
Sorry, we were going to be delivered something the other day, but like UPS required a signature, and because we weren't there, they were like, "Oh, we're going to keep it." So I really don't want to lose this chair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll usually hold it for 3 delivery attempts and then send it back.
Exactly.
That storm is crazy, Sal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And what's great is I'm like a few miles away from Tiffany, so like you'll hear it here, and then you'll hear it go over there.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm on board with the Super. I actually love the character of Supergirl and Power Girl when they do them right.
Yeah.
Like I do, and I like the version Rob's talking about where she's not some weak teenage girl who's trying to find her way. I like Supergirl's like, oh hey, cuz. Yeah, I can't. Oh God, I can't control my powers. Boom! Everything blew up. And Superman's
That's
like, calm down.
Yeah.
just give me like a broken ass Supergirl where it's like, hey, so like if I was here when Zod attacked, like that fight would have been over lickety split, and like I would have broken his neck long before you did.
You know, if they really wanted to go like, we need another female superhero, like we really want to capture the lightning in the bottle when it comes to Wonder Woman, but we like want to kind of start from scratch and do our own thing. Do Jesse Cruz Green Lantern movie. It's a reintroduced Green Lantern. Cool. You get a female.
She's getting a lot more spotlight. She's in superhero. What's it? Superhero Squad or what are they calling it?
I don't know.
It played in the front of Teen Titans Go, so I know you guys saw it. It was the little short where Batgirl tried to catch up. What?
I gotta see it.
Oh, it's so good. Okay. Anyway, it's the superhero DC superheroes or Supergirls or what are they calling them?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's the all-female team.
Yeah.
Superhero girls?
That's it, superhero girls.
The ones that got the cartoon and like the action figures about.
The dolls,
yeah.
Hey, they're action figures.
They're action figures.
But yeah,
collectibles. They're not toys.
She'd be pretty cool, like because then you could end it with your stunt casting. Like you're like, okay, I want to get Hal Jordan in these movies. I'm gonna recast him. We'll put him at the end. I don't know.
Yeah. And everyone's like, no, Teen Titans Go is good. If you didn't watch it, you dumb. Go watch it. If you like Lego Batman, it's the same style of humor as Lego Batman. It just 100% is. It does nothing but spoof everything in the DC universe. It's hilarious. I loved it. I do want to say my favorite joke in that real quick was they did the exact thing that you always wonder in comic books. Whenever you have the OP character on the team and you're like, why don't they just do this? They did that. Like Raven, every time they get like really boxed in, she's like, portal? And they open a portal and warp everyone away. You're like, yay!
That's awesome. I love it. I can't believe they got Will Arnett again, but like whatever.
Yeah.
The
show still has a number of problems. I will agree with that. It has its episodes, but it's not. No, give me the original. Oh, and they have a tease that the original show is coming back.
I heard that.
Yeah, heard that.
Hold on, what original show?
The Teen Titans original show. At the end of Teen Titans Go, there's like the mid-credit scene is them being like, "We found a way back," and you're just like, "What does it even mean?"
I never grew up with Teen Titans, so it didn't really matter to me. Fans were just like, "Aren't you excited for Teen Titans?" And I was like, "Not really."
No, the original show was. I mean, I can't really speak of Teen Titans Go, but the original show was spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they brought back like. If they brought back X-Men the animated series with all the original voice actors, almost half of whom are dead, but if they brought them back, like
awesome. I think all of them are alive.
The guy who played Apocalypse died.
Oh yeah, well whatever. You just get somebody.
But for people who grew up with Teen Titans, Rob, that's just you growing up with X-Men. It's the same reaction.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it never really resonated with me. But if it was like X-Men, then like hell yeah, like I'd be hyped about that. No, I'm not tearing down Teen Titans. I'm just saying like. It doesn't impact.
For me, Teen Titans aired while I was in the military, so I'd catch it like walking in and out. I didn't sit there and like religiously watch it, but I think collectively I've seen all the seasons, so season 6 does excite me. But I'm in the same boat as you. Like if it was Batman the animated series and they're like, "We're bringing it back," I'd be like, "I'm on board." Like you got me. Teen Titans, I'm like, I'm excited, but
oh no, I would be so hyped, like such hype.
We're just too old for Teen Titans when it boils down to. The only reason I have it is because it popped on it. Because this is back in the day when Natalie and I would just put on like Cartoon Network or Adult Swim. Because we'd be playing video games and I got it out for the evening. I'd get back at home at like 7. It's like Adult Swim starts at 9. Let me just pop on Cartoon Network while we play some video games or make dinner or whatever we're doing. Yeah. So like Teen Titans was going a lot of times in the background.
They could bring Hi Puffy Amiyumi back and they could do the theme song he had. It'd be really awesome.
Oh, I loved that version. I did see that. That was a good version. So, okay, let's talk about the big news then, and we'll see how long this goes.
Right.
But we never got a chance to talk about it, but it's coming back to the news now, which makes it kind of worth finally us talking about the James Gunn situation with the internet and 10 years ago tweet, and we can even bring up the fact that Dan Harmon did apparently a similar thing, and Adult Swim's like, yeah, no, we're on board with backing him up. But the whole James Gunn thing's a few weeks old. It came out around San Diego, I believe, is when they happened. Didn't it happen like 3 days before? And the long story short, James Gunn made a pedophilia joke, I think it was what it was.
Yep.
Like 10 years ago. Yeah, on his Twitter. And this is keep in mind, this is when he was doing things from what I understood. Thank you so much, Shank, for that 2 months in a row. From what I understand is James Gunn was working on things like Trauma Vision and stuff back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like that really crude humor. Anyway, he made these tweets, and 3 days before San Diego Comic-Con, Disney dug them up and fired him over them.
No, it was, as I understand it, it was a politically motivated person or group of people who deliberately dug up the tweets and then presented them in presented them in a big public way or sent them directly to Disney. I don't recall the circumstances, but it wasn't that Disney was looking for dirt on their own people. It was that Disney was alerted to something that happened 10 years ago by a politically motivated group who was doing it for the purposes of what they were used for, which was getting Disney to be like, oh my God, we don't want to distance ourselves from that potential PR problem. And so they fired him.
According to Twitch chat, it was an alt-right person who did it because James Gunn insulted Trump.
Yeah, James Gunn is very vocal about his opinions about Trump, and he's been definitely tweeting about them. And people have been using that tactic for a while, to try and circumvent any arguments, particularly when it comes to alt-right or conservative-leaning tweets, where they're like, let me take something that you said and then flip it around on you to show that you're not the moral authority.
Yeah. So, anyway, following that, there was a huge fallout in Hollywood. People backing him, people being against him. From what I saw, it looked like most people were backing him as, hey, it was 10 years ago. You've matured past this.
Yep.
Every time that it would go away, someone would do something to bring it back up. Case in point, Dan Harmon apparently made a show about a guy who went back in time to molest psychopathic killers when they were children. And submitted it to Adult Swim as a pilot and put it on his social feeds. And people dug that up against Dan Harmon, and Adult Swim's like, yeah, he did this 10 years ago. We have 10 years to prove that he's grown past this, and this is not who Dan Harmon is anymore.
Yeah.
Which then added more fuel to the fire of Disney. What the hell? Why are you still against James Gunn?
Right.
Which then led to, I want to say about a week ago, the entire Guardians of the Galaxy cast, the main cast, all signed a petition stating that they don't agree with this, that they'll continue on as needed, such and such. And now Dave Bautista, I guess, got wind that they were going to drop James Gunn's script for something else.
No, for this, for Guardians 3.
Right, what I'm saying, they're going to drop it for another script is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
they're going to drop James Gunn. And so he responded with, if they do that, he's leaving the movie. So that's where we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Disney. They're just going to get the big
so much,
Dave Bautista, and that's going to be the end of that. They're going to say, well, you know what? Don't worry about quitting Dave Bautista. You're fired. And they're just going to let him go.
Do you guys see the possibility of, and Rob, we need a splooge for Shadow Panda 333.
Splooge.
Do you guys see the possibility of Disney just canning Guardians 3? Honest question, because it's all of their movies so far have been trilogies. Right. You've left at a point where the Guardians are pretty much their current plot is going to be resolved in Infinity War 2.
Yeah.
So we're not worried about that. So we could just not do a 3.
Yeah, I can see that.
A day ago, Forbes put out an article hypothesizing that this might allow them to reboot Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ugh.
With the Ravagers team?
Right?
That's
I would not go
that'd
see
be a
the
fun
Guardians
way
of the
to
Galaxy
fill
movie
some
for the
time.
Ravagers team.
I don't think
they'll just put Kitty Pryde on the Guardians. They'll just pull from that because now they now they can.
X-Men.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind, guys. Like Disney doesn't need Guardians. They have the X-Men, they have the Fantastic Four. They can make Marvel comic movies for the next 200 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're kind of like whatever. Like any money we lose on this, we'll make up for in everything.
I was going to say, nothing has started on Guardians 3. They paid for a script.
Yep.
They've got these actors on retainer, but they don't get paid, so the movies get made.
Yeah.
They could just be like, hey, you're all in contract for Infinity War in your last movie. We'll just let you out after Infinity War.
Right.
And that's the end. Because like Rob said, they got the X-Men. Or Tiffany said, one of you. They got the X-Men. They got Fox now.
Yep.
Yeah. Why even you don't have to reboot the Guardians. You don't have to do anything. You just call it quits.
Yeah.
They're done.
Here's your solution. we go, okay, take all the Guardian stuff and throw it out. Keep everybody who's on retainer. If Drax doesn't want to come back, he doesn't have to come back. Fast track the next X-Men movie. Make it in space. Have them fight the Shi'ar and have the Guardians show up. And there you go. Like, they bump into whoever's left. You know, Chris Pratt's going to come back. Chris Pratt, besides signing an open petition, he's not going to go on record saying I defend pedophilia tweets, even though that's really not officially what it is. But it's like Chris Pratt's trying to become a golden boy. He's like he's trying to make as much money and as much mainstream appeal as he possibly can. So he's not going to say no to this experience. Like, he's not going to say no to Disney. So like,
I don't know, man.
You got Star-Lord, you got Groot and everybody, you're fine. Like, you have them throw it and show up and, maybe they become the Starjammers or something. And you basically Thor Ragnarok it up. You take Planet Hulk, you take this other movie, boom, you got a movie. Like, you just...
Well, I mean, think about Groot and Rocket, you could just get a different voice actor. Yeah. Like, as awesome as they are, you could just get someone very similar.
But what's sad is James Gunn's brother plays Rocket. Like, everything you like about Rocket is from Sean Gunn. James Gunn's brother, who actually does the mocap for Rocket.
Oh, the mocap! The voice is Bradley Cooper.
The voice is Bradley Cooper. But Cooper will do it all. Like, he was in A-Team. He'll be happy to do whatever. Like, he'll take the check. Like,
A-Team was amazing too.
I love the A-Team.
It was really good.
Criminal. It's a criminal act that there was not a sequel. I can't believe nobody.
Yeah.
I can't believe none of you saw A-Team. That sucks.
I saw it. It was great.
No, he means the general movie going public. I think it's interesting. They're in a really tough situation now that they've made this decision. Now that the cast is being they don't necessarily agree with it, and it's just okay, so let's say they make the movie, right? Now they have to do press tours, and the cast doesn't have to participate well in that. You know what I mean? And for Disney, they're probably looking down the road being is this going to pay out? Is this going to be worth it dealing with everything that's to come from this? Or do we just go so new movie, new cast, new different space group, or no space group, or who cares?
No.
There are plenty of actors and actresses who are willing to deal with Disney because they want the money and to play a character who is beloved by comic book fans that has nothing to do with the Guardians of the Galaxy or this incarnation of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walking Bread, thank you for that 21 months in a row of subscription right here.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem is Disney rashly decided quickly to just fire James Gunn.
Yep.
And the rumor is it happened. What's his name? Disney fired him, but the final word hasn't been given yet. What's his name is what's the name of the top guy at Disney?
Iger.
Yes. Supposedly Iger is supposed to be coming back, and he's he was on a trip vacation or something, and he's supposed to be coming back, and is I'm making the final I'll make the final ruling on this, which I think gives them time. If that is officially out there. That Iger's I'll rule on this when I get back. And then he makes his return, and he's nope, that was 10 years ago. James Gunn stays on. Then it's a way for them to kind of sweep everything under the rug, and people are just yay! And then James Gunn's back, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 goes through. And in a year or so, people will have forgotten this whole thing happened.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some won't. But
all we need to do...
The insider rumors are that Disney is too stubborn and won't back down. Even though everyone in Hollywood has basically been dude, that was 10 years ago. It was a tweet. We're not talking the Kevin Spacey thing where it's he supposedly molested actually children.
Yeah, we have hard evidence that says, this is the dude who made Slither and Super. How did you not know that he made off-color jokes? You're talking about the Dan Harmon thing. Have you watched any of his Justin Roiland cartoons? The dude has said some really messed up stuff in the name of humor. And by the way, you may disagree with the level of humor or the style of humor it's done and whether it qualifies as humor. The fact is, saying something that you don't mean, that you don't believe in, that you're saying for shock value, whether you agree it's humor or not, is not up to you and is in fact a joke. Whether you like that joke is your opinion, and you can decide whether you like him or not. But it's a joke, a crappy joke, but a joke from the guy who wrote the video game Lollipop Chainsaw. How could you not expect that to happen? And then
I loved Lollipop Chainsaw.
I know, but by the way, what was it? Chris Hardwick got all of his shit back after a investigation by AMC. Disney literally...
I want to talk about that for a minute after this, because I got something to say about that.
Disney just has to come back. Iger doesn't have to say anything. You need a Disney representative who just says, after an internal investigation, we have determined that James Gunn is reinstated as Guardians of the Galaxy Helmer. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then just never cover it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had an internal You don't understand. We had an internal investigation. We didn't.
Yeah.
And in turn, like what did it
Okay,
involve?
you know
in?
this is the best time to jump into the Chris Hardwick, because that's my argument with this.
Go ahead.
But the Chris Hardwick's a similar thing, because Chris Hardwick, I think, is a great example of what could come out of the James Gunn thing.
Right.
So for those guys who don't know, Chris Hardwick was dating a woman years ago, and supposedly, I have to say it that way now because of the investigation.
Exactly.
But what she came out and said, she wrote like memoirs or whatever as a part of the Me Too movement, stating that she dated someone who mentally and physically abused her and basically borderline sexual rape and things like that. Yep. But she never named a name. People quickly figured out it was Chris Hardwick. They said, "Hey, Chris Hardwick did this to this woman," and he got put on a hiatus from AMC.
I thought he got fired.
I don't think he got fired because that's how he got his job back.
I thought they just let him. They just gave it back. Like it was because I know that the Nerdist, which is an organization that he created but no longer has any affiliation with whatsoever, did have to remove his name from all of their stuff. But he was, I think, he lost all of his panels it was right before Comic-Con, so he lost everything from that. But I thought he was fired from Talking Dead.
Because he has it all back, so I don't think he was fired. I think he was put on hiatus for an investigation. They actually investigated into it, supposedly. Mm-hmm. And after an investigation, they've come out and said he didn't do these things, or what she's claiming is not as severe as what actually happened.
Right. Well, we don't really even know what they discovered. They had an investigation, and we've determined that what occurred does not warrant what we did to him.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, that's the James Gunn solution.
And what ended up happening, though, is she's also come out and said that they asked her about it and she wouldn't confirm or deny anything.
Right.
So it's like whatever supposedly happened apparently isn't bad enough that you actually want to do anything against the guy. And what they found didn't add up to it. But if you had seen when they announced Chris Hardwick was coming back, there was so many tweets and social feeds that were like, how can you give this guy back after all the stuff that he did? And it's like, there's an investigation. That means they looked into it. That means that they didn't find what he supposedly did. And that is what I hate about the current situation with social media and James Gunn and Chris Hardwick. We've come into a day and age where I can just tweet out that Rob did something shitty to me, and everyone, unless they assume we're joking, is going to believe it. And now there's a whole investigation on it because of a tweet with 280 characters.
Yeah.
Or a message on Facebook, or it's ridiculous the way that this has gotten to that point where it's without any kind of investigation that definitively James Gunn is a bad guy because he made that joke.
I think a lot of it's also because nobody's willing to look at the Twitter community and just be like, so.
Yeah.
No one's going to look at it and be like, but you're Twitter though. You never you don't serve a purpose. All you are a place that exists so that you can vent on the internet instead of shooting up a school. That's what Twitter's for. That's why you're here. So serve your purpose and be quiet. Nobody's willing to say that to Twitter. That's literally what Twitter is. Twitter is the internet's dumping ground. So it's complain on Twitter and no one's willing to just kind of turn a blind eye and say, who cares? That's the one thing to keep in mind. If Disney hadn't fired James Gunn, and if they had just gone forward with Guardians 3, you know what it would have done? It would have made $1 billion because it's Guardians of the Galaxy 3. At the end of the day, most people don't care, and Twitter's not nearly as important as it thinks it is, and so it's one of these things where no one acknowledges that. No one sits down and says, but shut up, Twitter users. Just keep your hashtags, change your Facebook profile pictures, and be done with it.
Yeah. And
no one's willing to say that to them. It's just, they're just oh my God, Twitter's angry again. Now we have to do whatever Twitter wants us to do. And it's but no, you don't though. So they're angry today, but tomorrow they'll be angry about something else. Why? Because the people on Twitter, their lives are out of control, and it's the only thing they feel like they have control over. So it's whatever. But it's it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
no, you're right. I'm trying to fix something myself. So
sure.
Going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tiffany, what do you think
about this whole thing, just in general, or about Twitter and its use
Not
for?
Twitter.
Okay, I don't have anything to say about that other than Twitter's great for cat pictures and
I'm not going to say anything bad about Twitter. I'm trying to get verified here, everybody. No,
I was say something bad about Twitter because I hate Twitter for that fact right there. I mean, I'm not trying to go in that before you go, Tiffany. But Twitter's 280 characters. I agree with Rob. I call Twitter a fun toy. I hate people. I was reading a thing about a guy. He wanted to make a statement about how people state, prove to me the wage gap exists. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's saying you should go to a woman and state that. Like, if you want to research, go do it yourself. Don't go to people and say, prove this to me. But what I looked at the first tweet. I'm like, okay, that sounds viable, right? Like, it's kind of rude to go to people and say, prove this to me.
Yeah.
But he then followed it up with 50 tweets.
Right.
Like, it was his blog. I'm like, dude, it's Twitter.
Yeah.
You lost me on the first one at this point. Like,
right.
Do you know what Twitter is?
Put a Bitly link at the end of your comment so that I can read the rest of your stupid tweet or comment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I hate. Like, when I got in the argument with the Comicsgate idiots, fucking that bullshit. And I made the comment, Twitter's a toy. Like, people are losing their jobs over toys. I'm like, so stop fucking tweeting stupid shit. Like,
yeah.
Oh, no,
like,
okay, Dante, I don't deny that Twitter is a platform that people with serious issues use. What I'm saying is, if you have a legitimate story to tell, it's going to take a lot more than 280 characters.
And
so,
I agree with you on that one. 280 characters on Twitter is not a place to make political stance, to put your stance against a situation like Chris Hardwick. Twitter is not a place to have any serious conversations, because no conversation is limited to 280 characters. That's the argument there. There's no, like, just look at Trump. Trump can't even get it goddamn right on Twitter. Like, he's the fucking president. How can you take this and go, the president doesn't know how to spell on Twitter, but this is a legit platform?
Oh yeah, no, you gotta you have to take it as at face value. You have to take it as like that's the president speaking. Like,
yes!
how crazy has Twitter become?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I say, like, I feel like people give Twitter too much. Like, they give Twitter more credit than it deserves. Because I mean, that's why I say, like, what would be Twitter's reaction? Right, like the whole James Gunn thing comes out, and they're like, "Well, Disney, are you going to do anything?" And they're like, "Nope." Like, what's Twitter going to do? Are they just going to tweet more, use more hashtags? Like we're going to hashtag our hashtags. We're going to double hashtag. Like, we're going to hashtag even harder, you know? And it's like okay, but like literally, they're just talking. Like, they're talking to somebody who's not going to listen, and after a while, they'll just stop talking and they'll just go talk about something else. I mean, that's why I say, like, you know, I mean, did James Gunn say a boneheaded thing? Sure. And it was a decade ago. It'd be different if James Gunn said it like a year ago, or it'd be different if James Gunn had said that and then actually acted on it.
About it. Like, he's incessant. Like, every chance, like when he does the press tours, he's like, yeah, and you know what's funny? Pedophilia. Like, he just keeps trying to shoehorn into conversations.
My God.
Yeah.
It's not like when people were like, yo, Kevin Spacey molested boys, and then like they investigated and they were like, yo, you know what? He did. Like, and now his career is over. It's like, James Gunn made a dumb, not funny comment 10 years ago. And it's like, yes, he did. Well, now what? Like, it's not, like I said, like, it's not like he does it every day. And he's like, hey, don't forget, I'm a fucking weird, creepy guy. Like, don't forget, I have really creepy, invasive thoughts. Like, it's literally just, it's one of those things like the right to be forgotten. You know, like how, like, over in Europe, they're like, you know, you shouldn't be beholden. You shouldn't be like held accountable for the things you've said in the past, because there used to be a time when there wasn't a freaking record of it. You know, like,
well, it's not even that. We're more politically correct and more sensitive to stupidity today than we were 10, 15 years ago.
Well,
like that's.
I don't want to get into a debate about whether or not, like, political correctness in, like, perpetuating society is a good or bad thing. It's more just like I would hate to be held account. Let's say, like, when I was in high school, there was no Twitter. If there was, I would have said a lot of really dumb things.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that it would have been things about pedophilia, because they certainly wouldn't have. But like, I would have said really dumb, angsty teenager things, like about like how no one gets me.
Yeah.
And like, I would be embarrassed.
Tiffany, everyone would like to hear what your speech is.
Apparently,
you have a very long speech ready to roll.
I don't have a speech, but I gotta say, like, I think beyond like what you guys were saying, I think the biggest problem is that studios don't know how to react to this platform, just in general, regardless of how you feel about the platform itself, and whether or not you feel it's viable or not. studios don't know what to do with this new information that's coming out, because all they're trying to do is react to something that is happening instantaneously, even though they don't have to do that necessarily. Because as we all know, we as a population tend to react to things, especially now that everything is so instantaneous, like it is on Twitter. Like, we hear information, we have to have an opinion, we have to talk about it, everybody's got to be involved. And I'm not even talking about us in particular, I mean everybody. Anybody who hears about anything, whether it be like a puppy that got kicked in the streets or like a kid who's lost in the woods somewhere, we all have to react, we all would be part of it, and then it just goes away. But the studios don't seem to understand what is going to be a flash in the pan and what's an actual issue going forward. And so in this like instantaneous world, I think Disney reacted instantaneously, because they're like, we have to do something before news outlets find out about it, and then what are we going to do, because it's going to have a spiral. And it's like, or you could take a minute and say, like, we're looking into this, and like, just step back, everybody, because like, I don't know if this is a legitimate thing that I need to be concerned about, because I don't, as a Disney executive, understand necessarily what Twitter is, because I guarantee they have a basic idea of what it is. They're like, well, like you said, political leaders are on it, spiritual leaders are on it, celebrities are on it, people get news from it, news outlets are on it, but is it actually something I need to be concerned about? They need to get a handle on what it is that is like informing the populace and like pop culture and us as a society, and realize that there are going to be different ways to deal with things now. It's not the same as dealing with news that comes out on TV, in the newspaper, even on like a blog or something like that. This is very different. And like, you have to learn how to deal with it in a responsible way that doesn't look like a knee-jerk reaction, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah. I mean, what would Disney have had to gain by James Gunn? Well, they would quite certainly just tell people, you're not important as you think you are. Like, the internet tricked you into believing that because you have an opinion, that your opinion matters. No, just because you have an opinion, it means you have an opinion. It doesn't mean your opinion matters. And like, I mean, that's something that I think people kind of need to keep in mind. And I think it's something that people have forgotten. They're like, there's a community for me out there, therefore I matter. Well, I mean, you might matter as a person, but just because you have something to say doesn't mean people should listen to what you have to say.
Right.
So it's like, damn.
And you don't have an influence they don't have as much of an influence as you think they do. Like, when, like, let's say, like, you know, there was a huge groundswell of support for getting rid of James Gunn because of like a really stupid thing he said 10 years ago in a public forum. When you measure the potential loss, you know, just financially speaking, of everyone in that group saying, we will no longer support anything that James Gunn or any affiliates of James Gunn will ever make or do, which is a lie. Mm-hmm. And then measure it against everybody else who either doesn't know or doesn't care. When we talked about the James Gunn thing initially in this conversation, I saw a few people in the chat mentioning, what did he do? These are people who are coming to a comic book show to listen to people talk about comic books, and they didn't know what James Gunn said or did. So like, and they're informed. So like,
I hope so. I hope you guys watch your reports.
So I'm just saying, like, but yo, Disney, you know, just like yo, media companies, just because there's a hashtag or a vocal minority of people doesn't mean that they need to be acknowledged or need their opinions to be like policy.
Well, can I like support your argument with this? Does everybody remember what happened with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
And how everyone was, and like just all like how everyone was convinced that his career was over.
Oh yeah.
Isn't he back now?
Big time.
Oh no, it's like nothing happened. And like that's
he made a movie
point.
called Get the Gringo, which is fucking amazing.
But you know what I mean?
He was also in
like
Expendables 3 because no one would hire him.
Yeah. And he did like that ridiculous Daddy's Home 2 movie or what, you know what I mean? Like, but Mel Gibson said really stupid stuff. Not even like, you know what I mean? Like now it's probably 10 years ago, whatever. No, he said things. And now it's just like, who cares?
All they did was knock him off his high horse for a year, and then he's back to work.
And that's it.
Right. Well, like,
and that's it.
Mel Gibson was drunk and railed against the Jews.
Yeah.
His career. James Gunn, who is a known off-color humorist, made like off-color humor references, and he doesn't do that anymore. And that was, and it really is like, Tiffany, that was an amazing point you made earlier, because like the reality is, like, the technology is faster than the human mind, and Disney is trying to catch up with the technology and reacting to it. Disney was like it seemingly was spreading like wildfire, like the James Gunn controversy, and Disney's like, oh no, we have to put out the fire immediately, and it's like, as it turns out, it was really more like a garbage fire as opposed to like a house fire.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it wasn't even a fire. It was more like one of the matches got like lit. You know, it was so little and so infinitesimal and so less than a problem. But it could have been a problem, you see. It could have been. And I don't know how to discern which one's which. So I need to get in front of all of them, which is impossible.
But that's why I say, like, that's the nature of social media. And so I mean, think about it like this. Like, I've used social media in this capacity. Like, the people who get up in arms over things that aren't really relevant, I look at it in this capacity. Like, you're talking about a person, like, they graduate high school, they go to college, they get out, and like, there's no job there. So right off the bat, they feel cheated. And then they look around and they feel like their employers don't care about them. They're working these crappy shifts, they're working these crappy jobs. Their government doesn't listen to them. Like, everywhere they look, they are in the passenger seat of their own life. But on Twitter, they can change the face of they can have some measure of an impact. And so I think what it is it's people trying to have a significant impact on something and screwing it up the entire time. Like everything is important and everything is a big deal because it's the only way they feel like they can have meaning or be relevant. And so it's interesting to me. It's just,
certainly,
I don't
you hit on a good point that's actually larger than what we're talking about, where it's like why so many people in this country feel like disaffected and unrepresented because like they're the passengers in their own life. And so they just they want to feel effective.
Yeah.
But
real quick, thank you for that sub, Sci-Fi Pie.
What's that?
We had a sub. I was saying thank you.
Nice.
Splooge.
Yay.
But yeah, no, I think we're at a good point with this. I think we're kind of just circling around the same points at this.
Yeah. Can I just say one other thing?
Yeah.
It's funny because Danielle.
No, Tiffany.
Danielle and I are like,
it's not a hashtag we're going to be honoring.
Danielle and I apparently are on the exact same page. Just don't forget, everybody. Disney has always had issues with people saying stupid things in the past. Walt Disney himself.
Oh yeah.
Whole lot of allegations about him, but it's okay. We'll just forget about that. It's totally cool.
Right, exactly.
Thank you so much, Applejacks9110. Okay, guys, we're going to be winding down here. I do want to give you a quick reminder. This show is entirely supported by your Twitch subs. The subs that come in during the show and for the follow-on couple of days, they go to fund getting Danielle, who handles the re-uploads and the scheduling and the Twittering and all that other stuff for us. It goes to funding her to keep her going with this whole thing. So if you do enjoy the show, you do want to see us talking about your favorite pop culture, your favorite situations, then please consider giving us a quick sub over here. That'd be great. Also, if you are here for the first time, I will be back in an hour with Natalie. We're going to be doing the new Final Fantasy XIV content. We're just going to go eat some dinner and then go live again. That way the weekly poll people aren't like, what is going on? So we'll give you guys a little bit of a breather. But yes, if you do want to support me and Natalie and come hang out with us and talk about video games, comic books, whatever you want to talk about, come hang out with us in about 1 hour. We'll be playing that stuff. If you do want to go find our amazing host, Rob is at a channel called Comics Explained. You can find him explaining all kinds of comic book knowledge, keeping you up to date on your favorite books. Tiffany and Sal are over on the channel Comic Pop, and Tiffany also does their Twitch channel where she does gaming occasionally. I don't know your schedule, Tiffany.
Right now it's Wednesdays around like 5 o'clock, and then Sundays around like 5:30.
Okay. All right. So Sundays are the ones I normally end up tossing because that's the one we collide with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, you can go check them out over there. And we also do host them over here. It's Comic Pop TV. That's their Twitch channel. And you can always find me over on Comicstorian, Eligible Monster, this Twitch channel, various multiple spots. Typically, if you are watching this, you know who I am, and I just unplugged my microphone. So not my microphone, my headset. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. It wasn't overly fast. We started a little early, but we did say that today there's no hardcore topic. It's, like I said, the typical post-San Diego stuff. There's nothing huge to go over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually kind of impressed we stretched out these topics as long as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Joel's not here, so I don't plug him. All right, guys, thank you for joining us today. We are ending, I guess, 10 minutes earlier than usual, but we will be back with this podcast in 2 weeks. If you want to hear me and Rob talking about some interesting stuff, Thursday there'll be another podcast. Sunday will be another podcast. And then tonight and Thursday night there'll be some gaming. And that's it. Podcasts all over the place, gaming going all over the place. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. I'll see you in the next hour playing some Final Fantasy XIV.
Awesome.
All right. See you then.